I'm on page 49 in the textbook. Let me just double check that. Yes, and remember we're talking about literary text. So this is a story that's probably not true. It's just a story that somebody has written. It says to read the passage, then answer questions 1 through 4. Now, as I read, I'm going to annotate, and I'm going to mark words that are not normal in my vocabulary, words that I don't use on a regular basis. As I neared my aunt's house, I realized how much I wanted to stay outside. I was finishing a walk in her neighborhood that had been blissful. The morning air was chilly but refreshing. The melodies of birds created a soundtrack for the morning. I breathed in the fragrance of flowers that were somehow blooming in February. The neighbor children giggled and waved to me from their front porches. Now I'm going to stop because I'm annotating, and this is something I actually do. I'm not just doing this for you. I'm just going to make a note here that the emotion that comes to mind as I read this is joy. Not jubilation. I'm not clapping and cheering, but this is a pleasant description. Finally, I knew I had to return to my aunt's house because she always put breakfast on the table promptly at 8 o'clock. I could eat the unappetizing breakfast hot, or I could be late and eat it cold. I imagined the delicious meal I could be having at home instead. I walked down my aunt's sidewalk and opened her door. After the refreshing chill of outside, the stifling heat inside the house hit me hard. So did an acrid odor that came from the kitchen. The sharp smell of smoke filled the air. Okay, this emotion that I get is not pleasant. Evidently, the aunt just cannot cook or something. "Where were you?" my aunt yelled. She came out of the kitchen and approached me with a plate. A piece of soggy toast soaked in butter sat on the plate. Okay, this emotion, the word that comes to mind is yuck. I looked at the toast. It wasn't burned. I wondered what part of my breakfast my aunt had burned in the kitchen. For the 100th time, I wished that I didn't have to spend my winter break with my aunt. So what started off as a happy story ends with an unhappy sentiment. Okay? Don't assume that just because the first paragraph is happy that the last one will be, or vice versa. Sometimes things improve as you read, or sometimes they deteriorate. So let's look at these words I highlighted, the first of which is blissful. Full of bliss. Well, the question is, what is bliss? Blissful is very happy. Melodies. You may know this one. When I think of birds, I don't usually think of a melody, I think of a song. Birds sing that bird song. A soundtrack. Sound involves my ears. Track is like a CD. So this is a record or a CD of songs. I'm not going to reread the whole story, but let me read the first paragraph for you. As I neared my aunt's house, I realized how much I wanted to stay outside. I was finishing a walk in her neighborhood that had been very happy. The morning air was chilly but refreshing. The songs of birds created a CD of songs for the morning. I breathed in the fragrance of flowers that were somehow blooming in February. The neighbor children giggled and waved to me from their front porches. Just a little more review here. Promptly means on time. Unappetizing is not tasty. Something I do not want to eat. Liver, for me, is unappetizing. Stifling heat. This is after the refreshing chill of the outside. The stifling heat is overwhelming. It's just overpowering. Let's use that word. It was just too much. It was stifling. An acrid odor. Acrid is something that smells bad, or I associate it with burning. It definitely smells bad, but to me it's not like the bad smell of roadkill. It's burning, something that's burnt. It's that smell that you would smell after a house fire. Not pleasant. Soggy, I bet you know this one, means soaked. And there's the synonym. Actually, I'm not even gonna. The synonym is right there. Soggy is soaked. So let's answer some questions about this passage. Read the sentence. I was finishing a walk in her neighborhood that had been blissful. What is the word blissful? And you see that's one of the ones I marked right there, is very happy. Full of joy is the choice that will work. Full of fear, being tired, or causing sadness. The walk was blissful. It was full of joy. Which of the following means the opposite of unappetizing? So we're looking for an antonym. Unappetizing means not tasty. So what is the opposite of not tasty? Delicious, soggy, horrible, or burned? I'm going to go with delicious is the opposite of not tasty. Read the sentence. After the refreshing chill of outside, the stifling heat inside the house hit me hard. Which two words, be careful here, have opposite meanings? You have to find two answer choices. Refreshing, stifling, inside, or hard. The chill was refreshing, the heat was stifling. Chill and heat are opposites. Refreshing and stifling are opposites. One very good clue here, and this won't always work, but in this case it does. You see those endings are the same? Those very often indicate either synonyms or antonyms. Not always, though. Number 4, read the sentence. So did an acrid odor that came from the kitchen. Which of the following sentences from the passage is a context clue for the meaning of acrid? So we're trying to define acrid. And here we're using those quotes. They're copied directly from the passage. I breathed in the fragrance of flowers that were somehow blooming in February. After the refreshing chill of outside, the stifling heat inside the house hit me hard. The sharp smell of smoke filled the air. A piece of soggy toast soaked in butter sat on the plate. Well, I'm going to eliminate D as in dog because it has nothing to do with an odor. Okay, it's not a smell. B has nothing to do with an odor. It's not a smell, so you can eliminate those two. A talks about the fragrance of flowers. That is a pleasant smell. Acrid is not pleasant. It's something that smells very bad. So the one you want here is C. I want to point out something to you, though, in B. It's not the answer, but I want to show you something. There are 3 sets of synonyms here. We have antonyms. We have outside and inside. Those are opposites. We have chill and heat. Those are opposites. They're antonyms. And we have refreshing and stifling. Those are antonyms. So that sentence, that's a very good sentence to show you what antonyms look like in context. Okay. That is the end of lesson 14, I believe. Yes. So I will see you in the next video, and we will look at lesson 15.